Good morning and welcome to Zhuhai. Behind me is Zhuhai's Grand Theatre, and this is now the new landmark of Zhuhai. And you can see it has a very special architecture. It's like two shells. And what's really interesting at night, the sides can be used as large screens and they project images and messages onto there. Very cool. Zhuhai, a city in China's Greater Bay Area, is home to one of China's largest domestic appliance manufacturers, Gree. And we're going to check out their headquarters right now. That's the first solar fence I've ever seen, but what a good idea. Gree are probably best known for their air conditioners and water heaters, and you can go into almost any home in China and it's probably likely that they will have a Gree, either an air conditioner or a water heater. You see them like everywhere, and I've just found out from the presentation that for air conditioners they make about 20% of the world's air conditioning. That is just vast. But something that I didn't know is they actually produce a lot of their own components, so they can produce their own compressors. They even produce their own silicon chip components. I had no idea of that. I thought they just made air conditioners and heaters. They make refrigerators, but knowing that they make their own components, I think that's really quite cool. This is a portable air conditioner, and it's rechargeable, so you can take it to your caravan or your tent or wherever. On a full charge, it'll run for around 6 hours, and actually it's quite good. It's really nice cold air running out of the side of that, and you've got all your controls here, look, to turn it up and down. I love this like retro styling they've given it. I think that's absolutely lovely. So this here is not just a television, it's a television with an air conditioning unit built in, and it can provide hot and cool air. How cool is that? Sometimes people think air conditioners are a bit ugly in their rooms or on the wall. You can actually now disguise it behind a television. That's pretty cool, right? So I was curious to know what these were for, but what it is to show that even when it's spinning around, it's absolutely perfectly still, and it's like almost no noise at all. I guess that's why it's called Eco Silence Drive, but that is like super quiet and super, like most are like this when they are, but this, you can see it got a coin and a pencil. This thing here is absolutely dead still. Amazing. Something I had no idea about Gree is they do a huge range of industrial products. You see down here, these are all industrial compressors. So these operate big coolers. So if you have like a factory that makes frozen goods and you have like chilled warehouses, these are the kind of compressors that will be put in those warehouses. They have solutions for chilled food chain, and right here these are like kind of industrial fridges. These are for medical use. So again, something else that's really surprised me here, they also make industrial robots as well as some very impressive CNC machinery. And I guess they will use all this in their own factories, but they also produce it to sell to other companies. I mean, there's some very impressive CNC machines here, and these are some very impressive industrial robotic arms. You know, these are sort of the bedrock of a lot of factory automation now in China. They will use these, and you can see they have right from very large ones down to very small ones. Yeah, very good. At the start, he showed us a chart. So over the years, the factory workers have become less and less, and their technical staff and their R&D staff have increased. And that's because of these kind of things. So more and more of their sort of mundane jobs, their production jobs, are being done by these kind of things and big CNC machines like this. So you need less and less people on the shop floor. So actually, it hasn't changed the amount of people they employ, but they employ now more people in technical roles and R&D roles and less in production, which is, to me, is a good thing. These are molds. You put the sheet of steel in, which closes in a big machine, and that comes out. These are all the components for compressors and motors. Oh, this is servo motor cores. These are cores for motors. So you see these holes, they wind their copper wire around those and it makes a motor. See? They wind the copper cores around that, and that's the magnetic field goes through here, look, and it'll spin the motor. This is the kind of stuff that excites me. Proper good engineering. Oh, we got some batteries here, look. 155 amp hour. They'll probably be 3.6 volts. So these are batteries that are used in, these are used inside cars and other things. More batteries here. This is the copper wire that's used in windings. That is so cool. We literally have an industrial robot orchestra. Imagine what you could do with that with some time. You could create some amazing stuff with that, couldn't you? Previously, when you have solar panels, you would charge up a battery and then you would invert that back to AC to run your appliances. But what he's saying is that there's a number of appliances now that are actually DC appliances, so they're not transforming into AC and then back into DC, because actually a lot of appliances have a transformer that transforms the AC to DC. So they're direct driving with DC, which makes it, one, cheaper to manufacture, and two, more efficient to run. So that's a good thing. So this whole place runs on DC power from power storage. The capacity is 60 kilowatt hours, which is quite large. So this is touching 48 volts DC, and as you can see, it's quite safe. So the reason why they use this 48 DC voltage system, 48 volts DC system in houses, because it's safe. So even if children put their fingers in a socket, they're not going to get electrocuted because it's quite a low voltage. But it's really smart that they have all these devices that run on 48 volts DC. As I mentioned previously, this has been used in mobile homes and camper vans for many, many years, but it's the first time I've seen it deployed in a static home living environment. Very cool idea. So all of these initiatives and this development, it's all pushing China closer and closer towards carbon zero, and that's a massive thing here in China. There's no other country in the world anywhere near close to China with the way they are moving to clean energy. I've just all over China, I see examples, massive solar farms, massive wind farms, companies like Gree, you know, making these efficient systems. Guys just told me that they implemented this in a factory in the Middle East, and it saves them around 90% on their electric bill. You know, just think of all the energy that is saving. That's fantastic. As a Westerner, you've probably seen many brands of appliances in your stores, and a lot of those brands are just brands. That product will have actually been made in China. But what companies like Gree are now doing, and many other Chinese companies are following the same, is they want to establish their own brands in world markets. And I think my impression, in the next 10 to 15 years, you're going to see more and more Chinese brands appearing in international markets, because gone are the days where Chinese quality is poor. Chinese quality is really, really high now. You know, you have companies like DJI, BYD, who are leading the charge into international markets, and I think we will see many more companies like Gree and that follow suit, and you'll be seeing their products in world markets.